How you doing? In this video, we're going to talk about the brush tip shapes, or rather the brush effect. Brush tip effect, if you want to call it that. Come on. Right, now we're going to create a layer, just one of them. We don't need two of them. And then over here we have the brush tip shape, right? So this is what I'm going to be talking about in this video, right? Right, now, of course, I'm not going to be getting deep in each and every one of these. I'm just going to show you what it does and just a little bit of a taste, and then move on to the next one, right? Yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's first experiment the shape dynamics, right? You don't click here, because when you click here, you just toggle it on. Now it's on, right? But when you click here on the word like this, now you have the settings, right? When you click here, you lock it, right? Right. So let's see shape dynamics, right? Now before we even see this, let's just untoggle it and see how the brush is. This is the brush, okay, without any effects like that, right? Right, so let's toggle this on, shape dynamics. So basically what you can do here is you can scatter, you can have a scatter. Pay attention to the preview down here, right? Some of the things I'm not gonna show them here. You're just gonna have to look at here, okay? Right, this is the size jitter, right? Yes, the size jitter, look at that, right? Look at that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click, drag like this, and I'm gonna click, you know? You see what's going on? Yeah, so basically this is what it does. And then the rest of these settings are just, you know, flip axis and, you know, the angle of the brush and all those kind of things. Also, when you come here on controls, you get the same menu on all of this, right? You get the same menu, fade dial, pen pressure, pen tilt, style as well, okay? You get the same ones, right? But if you come here and click fade, right, you can also get another, you know, nice effect. So you see if I click here, it looks like that. But if I click and drag, you see that? Yeah, click. See, the sizes also varies. Let's come up here and reduce to 0, okay? So now you see when I click and drag, see what's going on? Click, drag, you see? You see? It's kind of a little smear or smudge sort of a thing, right? Oh, by the way, when you click to another one, like me, when I click here, right? And when I click here, you gotta untoggle this, right? Because you can use all of them at the same time, right? Yeah, so pay attention to that, right? Every time you pick another one, make sure you untoggle the other one, right? Right, scattering, Control Z. The scattering effect is actually, again, I would like to do this just to keep this here, right? Remind me every time I Control Z. The scattering sort of scatters the brush tips, right? For example, right now it looks like this, and if I do, I don't know, pick it up and rather pay attention to what's going on here. When I move the slider, you see that the scatterings are like a little bit, and they get even more and more scattered like that, right? So if I can do 1000%, right, and then I click and pull like this, you see they all scatter everywhere, right? Yes, Control Z, and right here you can change the count of how many scatters. You see that? The more you do, the more the scatters have, right? Let's do like 7, and you see when we do this, more of them, kind of like a war front like that, right? So keep it low, keep it like 2, you know. In fact, keep it 1 like that, you know, and do that and experiment with that, right? Right. Let's move on to texture, right? Now, texture is the texture of the brush. For example, let me pick my brush, the one that I created. By the way, if you want to see how I created this brush, go ahead and click on that pop-up video right there, or simply subscribe so you can eventually get to all of my videos, or rather that video, right? So again, where are we? We're here, texture, yes. So I'm gonna click maybe here like this, right? You see how it looks like? And then I'm gonna click the texture, right? And I'm gonna click here. See the difference? So you're only just playing with the texture of the brush. You see what I'm trying to say? So again, you can do the contrast, you can pick up the contrast. You see? And put it back to 0. Yeah, I'm putting everything back to 0 because I'm gonna reuse them someday. So I don't want to come back and try to find out where this was. I'm sorry. The brightness, you can adjust the brightness, you know. And by the way, everything sort of works the other way when you use it here, right? You see that? Now it's all just black and all that. So bring back to where it was. So you can go ahead and just play with it, right? Just play with it. You can do depth and Control Z. You can even adjust the depth jitter like this, okay? You see? See the difference? Yes. Put it back to where it was, and you can go on and experiment with that. Right. Let's move on to dual brush. Now over here is actually it's just basics. I don't really see. Let me go back to the brush that I was using before. Dual brush and untoggle this. Now the dual brush is pretty basic. You set up the size, the spacing, and the scatter, and you know. And by the way, on the scattering, right? I'm sorry, I'm going back now. On the scattering, there's something else that I should have shown you, but I didn't. I'm sorry. Make this brush smaller. When you scatter like this, see the scattering like this, okay? Now pay attention, when they scatter only in Y's, right? But if I click here, all X's are scattered now, right? So if I click here, everywhere is scattering. See that? Yes, before it was just Y's, and now it's Y's and X's, right? Right. And click here, and now again, you're gonna do it like this. Right. So dual brush, I was saying, it's basic, man. It's just, you know, the settings here. It's nothing to explain here, really. I'm sorry. Over here though, this is interesting, the color dynamics, right? So let me see. You see these colors here? We have the foreground and we have the background, right? Now when I click and do this, you see is the background color. When I click here and slide just up a little bit, I'm allowing the background color to mix, okay? Pay attention, they mix with both of these colors, right? So the background color is now mixing with the foreground color. When I turn it up like that, again, they're gonna mix even more. Again, turn it up like that, they are mixing even more, right? Control Z, give it space. Okay, turn it up, you know, it's gonna be just more mixes and more mixes like that, right? Right. And of course you can make it more purify it. Control Z, purify it like that, okay, or make it less purified like that, right? Right. Bring it back to 0 again. I'm gonna have to use it someday. Transfer, okay, this one I'm gonna just do one quick thing. All right, so let's say all right, I'm gonna do opacity jitter, right? I'm gonna put the opacity jitter to like 60%, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click and drag like this, you see, and then down here I'm gonna click. You see the difference? You see the difference? I know you see the difference. The opacity of it sort of, let me pick it up to 100%, and then again click. See the opacity? See the opacity? I'm not changing it, okay? The effect is taking over like that, right? Right. And then now let's move on to the brush pose. Now the brush pose, again, it's kind of like the dual brush. There's nothing for me to explain here. You tilt it you tilt it on its axis, you tilt it on its y's, you rotate it, you bring it's simple basic things, straightforward, you know, the pressure and everything, in case you're using a pen. Right, so let's move on to noise. Now the noise, now see, pay attention, when I click here, it doesn't give any settings over here, because from here until here there are no more settings. Okay, it's just one thing only. Okay, so you click here, you either not get the noise, or you click here or you get the noise, right? Right, so let me unclick this and then give you an example before again. Unclick, right? So I'm gonna use my brush, cherry brush. Click here, that's my cherry brush, and then I'm gonna put the noise, and then I'm gonna click here. Now pay attention, I'm gonna zoom in, pay attention to the brushes. This one is perfect and this one is noisy. All right, yes, this one is noisy, this one is good, this one is noisy. Right, let's move on. Wet brush, again, click here, the brush is, oh, sorry. Click here, the brush is normal, and I click wet, right? Now the brush is wet. See the difference? Of course you can see the difference. Control Z. Now this one is for airbrush, actually. Build up is airbrush, right? Now let me again go back and use the brush I've been using, right? Now, normally, you know, you won't see any difference. I'm sorry, let me remove this transfer. You won't see any difference. For example, you know, if I click and drag like this and stroke, and I click build up, click and drag like this, it's an airbrush, okay? So I don't see any difference. I don't know if you do see any difference. If you tell me, you go ahead and tell me, right? So airbrush, even right here is also the airbrush. You can still set it up here. But then for me, I don't really see any difference. Only realistic painters knows what I'm talking about, right? Right, smoothing. Okay, this smoothing right here is not like this smoothing right here, okay? But this one, okay, you see right now, I can just click and, you know, do, okay, let me reduce the brush size a little bit. So if I just click and just do this, right? And then I click smoothing, and then I click and do this, right? There's not much difference, right? Why? Because this smoothing is only controlling the path on the mouse, right? It helps you, but just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Okay, so your mouse is not gonna get so raggedy like that, right? Yes, so this one though, right? This one is different, because if I do this, right? And then I come here and I pick up the smoothing to like 63%, and you see now it's more smooth, kind of like ice cream, you know? You can never go wrong when you set up the smoothing up here, right? Yes. Down here is the protect texture. Okay, this one also is about the patterns, right? You protect the texture of a pattern brush in case you wanna preset it, right? It's better if I read it for you. Just hover here and wait, and it says preserve texture pattern when applying brush presets, right? Yes, so that it only does that. There's nothing really visible that it shows. No. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Put a like, put a subscription, and go ahead and scroll my channel and watch more interesting videos just like this one, right? Yes. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a scroll.